I'm out here in New Jersey at Wall Stadium to cheer on Vaughn Gittin JR in his S550 Mustang.
6 to 10 inch wheelies on the corners.
Jersey at Wall Stadium for the 4th event in the Formula Drift season. Now this place is known as a gauntlet, and guys, take a look at the track behind me and you'll see why. There's a crazy bank on this track here today. Now we're out here this weekend to cheer on Vaughn Gittin JR in his S550 Mustang. He's one of the only guys out here repping a Mustang. This place is mostly dominated by imports, so it's great to see someone out here in a Mustang. And we're going to be chatting with him a little bit later on. So we caught up with Vaughn Gittin JR himself in his very own pits. We are standing in front of your car. You are now running an S550 in Formula Drift. You were running an S197 for the longest time before. How do you feel about this car?
Going over to the IRS from a live axle, it obviously was a change, but from my perspective and the team's perspective, a change for the better. We have a lot more adjustment in the rear end, suspension geometry, alignment type things. We're pulling, 6 to 10 inch wheelies on the corners. Even though it's bigger and slightly heavier than our previous car because of how strong the unibody is, the car is still very nimble and still a lot of fun to drive. And 1,000 horsepower Ford Performance Roush Yates motor under the hood helps it all.
As far as this car and what you have for your setup, do you think you have everything pretty much dialed in at this point, or are still some things you're trying to work out?
So right now, I'd say we're about 80% of the way there. We had a 4-hour practice yesterday. Right. We're about to go out right now for 2 hours just before qualifying. So we have a strategy of the things we're going to focus on, which is all part of getting us ready for qualifying and getting us ready to battle and ideally win come competition day.
All right, so for those of you guys out there that aren't as familiar with Formula Drift, I'm going to break down some things for you in the most basic terms. So each run is going to be judged by 3 judges. The 3 judges are looking for 3 different things from each driver. They're looking for line, they're looking for angle, and they're looking for style. So line is the line that the drivers are supposed to take around the track, and that's outlined for them, and it's different for each course. The line around this track is a little bit complicated, it's a little bit tricky, hence why it's called the gauntlet. The line is outlined by the yellow line that you see around the track, but more so outlined by what's called clipping points. There are inner and outer clipping points, and those are going to be the cones that you guys see on the track. The drivers need to hit those inner and outer clipping points, but at the same time, they don't want to cross the line because that's known as going out, and they'll have points deducted if they're too far out or over the line. The judges are also going to be looking for angle. Of course, you want a ton of angle when you're drifting. Not only do you want a ton of angle at all times, but you want a smooth, fluid angle at the same time. So drifting is all about being fluid, being smooth, and having as few corrections as possible throughout your run. So drivers are striving to get a ton of angle on the correct line. Now, the last thing is style. Now this one's a little bit more complicated than the other 2, but basically there's a ton of areas where an individual driver can put their own style into their drifting. One of the big areas is on the initiation. So when the drivers are initiating and going into the first turn on the bank up there, they want to initiate as soon as possible, and they want as much angle as possible, as fast as possible, once again with as little correction as possible all throughout the entire course. Slightly hard to tell at this point with all the smoke that Vaughn just created. We gotta wait and see what the judges say though. They're watching the replay now. They're gonna give him a score. You ended up with a 90. I know there are a little bit of weird things going on out there right now, so could you explain it to us a little bit?
Sure, yeah. The judges, they tell us exactly what they want in the drivers' meetings, and throughout qualifying, there's patterns of things they reward for at each particular track. So my first run, I went out, focus on hitting the line, being relatively aggressive and really, having good angle and good style. I didn't get the score I wanted. My spotter let me know, they're really rewarding drivers for aggressive driving and crazy driving. So the second run, I went out and did just that. I was pretty much flat out the whole run on the chip and, just hitting the rev limiter and hit all the marks as well and still hit my line, but ended up with a 90. There was about 7 dudes that did it better than me today.
Oh no.
Which it's all good though. You get in the show. This places you and puts you in your position in the bracket.
Right.
So the real day doesn't really start for us till tomorrow.
RTR had a big change, right? You now have a teammate who's also running an S550 Mustang, Chelsea.
The last couple years, I've been thinking that it'd be awesome to run another Mustang, and Chelsea's become a really integral part of the team. Him and I have similar styles, but we like a slightly different car. Being a mentor and helping a younger driver get up to speed and take him to the next level has been a lot of fun to me personally and rewarding.
Definitely worth clapping over. I love when they rip their rear bumper off on the bank up there. That was definitely a solid run. Chelsea is always a really aggressive driver, and he totally proved that just now. Talk about a smoke show. You qualified in first place, which means that you get a bye for the top 32. So while you did have a little love tab, as I call it, in practice, you don't quite have to worry about it as much because you have a couple hours to get the car right before you go out for top 16, right?
Yeah, the team won't have to do a 5-minute fix. They'll take their time, make sure everything's perfect, and we'll drive the same car we were driving before the accident. So we knew we wanted to go hard in practice, and this stuff happens every once in a while. So
What happened in practice?
Yeah, so we were coming out of the first turn, and I threw a bunch of angle into inner clip number 1, and basically I was 90 degrees sideways, a little bit too much. But I was bringing it back to save it, and the driver behind me was trying to close the gap at the same time and just T-boned me. There was probably like a 25 or 30 mile per hour difference in speed.
For the longest time, you were actually running an import in this series. What made you make the switch into a Mustang?
So I've always kind of been a closet fan of Mustangs, more of like Fox body stuff and like whatnot, but the newer Mustangs are so good, it's crazy. The handling is amazing, the motor, like the Coyote motor is so sick.
Can you tell me a little bit about this car here? I know it's similar to Vaughn's, but Vaughn was saying that you like a different car than what he likes.
So the actual physical car is the exact same. The motor, the transmission, the rear end, the body panels. We just tune our suspension a little bit different, alignment's a little bit different. I like a car that's a little bit more gripped up, that I can give full throttle kind of all the time. And he's got more of a finessing driving style that is like unreal good. I'm still picking up some of that too, so hopefully we can kind of find the best of both worlds.
All right guys, so here it is, the 2018 Mustang. And I have to admit, this is my first time seeing this car in person. Obviously, I saw it a lot online, and I've seen a ton of pictures of this thing, but it's not quite like seeing it in person. I have to say that I don't know if I was really in love with all the cosmetic changes that Ford made to this car from seeing it online, but seeing it in person is totally different. I actually really dig it, and I don't really like the look of many stock cars, but I can't wait to see what the aftermarket world is going to do for this car. I think this thing's going to look badass. What do you personally think about the 2018, and do you guys have anything RTR related with the 2018 Mustang coming up?
I really like it. I really like what they've done. I really like some of the features that are coming with the car, the increased technology, the new things that are coming out with the EcoBoost. I'm not sure if that's been announced yet or not.
I don't know if it's anything official, but we can discuss it.
I know we can't.
We'll dance around it.
There's new things coming with the EcoBoost that weren't available previously that are very exciting to me. And as far as the overall look of the car, I think they did a great job. I know there's a lot of people on the fence with the front end. I think it's a great progression for our beloved Mustang. As far as RTR, of course, you know it.
Of course.
We're already way ahead of the game. We're just applying our style and engineering from our suspension components all the way to the appearance stuff. We're extremely excited for that to come out. We've been working on some other spaces, truck market.
Really?
We should have some exciting things to see come SEMA this year with regards to F-150. So,
well, thanks, Vaughn, again.
Appreciate it. Woo!
have to put in work here because he's going up against Dean in the Viper, who's actually sitting second in the overall point standing for the season right now. So guys, hopefully Vaughn can get something done here and come out with a win. Judges say about that. Now Vaughn was a little bit out there, he was a little bit too far over that line. It doesn't necessarily automatically eliminate him, but they usually do deduct points. I'm not sure who they're going to fault with that. Obviously he spun out, so we're going to see what the judges say. So basically what's going on now is the judges are trying to determine if there was contact in Vaughn's first run or if Vaughn just over-rotated. If Vaughn over-rotated, then he's going to be out, he's going to be eliminated. Dean is going to win this round. But if Dean made contact with Vaughn's car, which caused the over-rotation, then Vaughn is in the clear and things will be judged differently. So we're waiting right now for the judges to determine. They're looking at so many different angles and they're taking a lot of time here. We're going to hang on here and see who won this. Vaughn won that. Yeah! Turn of events for Chelsea DeNofa. As you guys saw, what I was talking about yesterday, how important it is when you're coming off the bank here, how important part of the run it is. Chelsea had a ton of angle. He was super close on his chase run, but he just couldn't hold the angle and he ended up spinning out. So Chelsea isn't going to advance on the top 8, but still spectacular performance from Chelsea for this weekend. Something happened with Vaughn. I don't know exactly what, but it looks like he's still going to continue with his lead run. So fingers crossed because he could still pull a magic trick out of the hat here. Alright guys, so that's going to be it for the RTR team here today. An unfortunate turn of events, but that's the way a competition like this goes. Vaughn's mistake in his first run, his chase run, was greater than S's mistakes in his chase run. Vaughn had a great lead run. Either way, it's still great to be out here with these guys and watching them do what they do. Alright guys, so that's going to do it for this episode of Hot Lap. I gotta tell you, we had a great time out here at Formula Drift with all the RTR guys and both Vaughn and Chelsea. Obviously, they're nice enough to let me chill in their car for a little bit. I don't know if they're going to let me take it out. If you want to see more awesome videos like this one, make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel, American Muscle Videos. And for all things Mustang, keep it right here at AmericanMuscle.com.